Hi, I'm Sylvia. Looking back at my early years, I remember a childhood filled with love and laughter, thanks to my amazing parents. We weren't wealthy and we didn't live in a fancy neighborhood, but we had each other, and that was more than enough. My sister Rachel and I were inseparable, always getting into mischief together. Our parents just laughed it off, saying kids needed to explore the world around them. But everything changed when I was 8. One rainy night, my parents were driving home from work when a truck skated on the slick road and crashed into their car. They died instantly. At first, Rachel and I didn't understand why they never came home that night. It was our Aunt Melissa who broke the news to us. I remember her exact words. Your parents had a terrible accident, Burles. They're gone. In the days that followed, Melissa made a decision that would change everything. She took in Rachel, saying she could only handle one child. Rachel was quiet, the kind of kid who could sit in a corner and read for hours. Me, I was too much like my parents, vibrant and always on the go. Melissa said I was too much for her to handle. I'm sorry, Sylvia, but you'll have to go somewhere else, somewhere more suited to energetic kids, she told me, barely hiding her disapproval. I couldn't understand. Weren't we both her nieces? Why was I the one left out? I was sent to an orphanage, a place that still haunts me with its antiseptic smell and cold, unfeeling walls. I felt abandoned, like a throwaway child, unwanted even by my own family. But fate had other plans. The Smiths, friends of my parents, heard about what had happened and came for me like angels in disguise. They didn't see the troublesome child. They saw a girl who had just lost everything. Why wouldn't we want you, Sylvia? Mrs. Smith said gently as they signed the adoption papers. You're going to be our daughter now, and we're going to make sure you have everything you need. Moving to a new city with the Smiths felt like stepping into a different world. They loved me as their own, never once making me feel like an outsider. They supported me through school, cheered me on at soccer games, and were there for every high and low. As I adjusted to my new life, I couldn't help but wonder about Rachel. How was she doing? Was Melissa kind to her? Did she miss me like I missed her? Life moved on, and I grew up in a home filled with love and acceptance, slowly healing from the wounds of my past. That's how my journey began, in a loving home that chose me when my own family turned me away. Hey Sylvia, you're awfully quiet today. What's on your mind? Mrs. Smith asked, looking concerned as she handed me a cup of coffee across the breakfast table. It's nothing really, I said, my voice trailing off. I had found a box of old letters in the attic, letters that weren't meant for me but had told me so much. Sylvia, whatever it is, you can tell us. We're here for you, Mr. Smith chimed in, his expression soft and inviting. Taking a deep breath, I decided it was time to share. I found letters from Aunt Melissa to my parents. I began, my voice trembling. She talked about taking in Rachel but not me. She said I was too much like my parents, too wild to fit into her perfect family. The room went silent. Mrs. Smith reached over, squeezing my hand. Oh, Sylvia, that must have been so hard to read, she said softly. It was, I admitted, but it explains a lot. Why she never came to see me, not even once. I guess I just wasn't the right fit. Sylvia, remember, we chose you because you fit perfectly with us, not because you needed to fit into some mold, Mr. Smith said firmly. I nodded, feeling the weight of years of confusion starting to lift. I know, and I'm grateful every day, but it still hurts, to be rejected because of who I am. We understand, sweetheart, but remember, you're not that little girl anymore. You're a strong young woman who has overcome so much, Mrs. Smith said, smiling warmly. Encouraged, I continued, You're right, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to write my thesis on family dynamics and acceptance. Maybe I can help others understand and deal with similar situations. That sounds like a wonderful idea. We're so proud of you, Mr. Smith said, his voice filled with pride. The rest of my college years flew by as I immersed myself in studies and part-time work, fueled by a desire to prove that being too much could actually mean having a lot to offer. My thesis on family acceptance was well received, opening doors to graduate studies and a promising career in social work. Each success felt like a silent nod to Melissa, showing that her rejection didn't define me but propelled me forward. My relationship with my adoptive parents grew stronger, and I found solace in knowing I was loved unconditionally. As my career took off, I often reflected on those difficult revelations and used them to drive my passion for helping others. Each family I helped reconcile felt like healing a little part of myself that had been broken. Through it all, I kept moving forward, determined to live a life full of love and acceptance, proving that sometimes being too much is just enough. One crisp afternoon, as I was settling into my office, my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. "Hello, Sylvia speaking. This is Nurse Thompson from Greenwood Care Facility. I'm calling about your aunt, Melissa. She's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and her condition has deteriorated." Hearing Melissa's name after so long jolted me. "I'm sorry to hear that, but there must be some mistake. Melissa and I haven't been in contact for years." "I understand, Sylvia, but before her memory faded, she insisted we reach out to you if things worsened. Her family, they haven't visited in months." I paused, the weight of her words sinking in. "I see. What exactly are you asking of me?" "Just a visit, perhaps. It might comfort her, even in her current state." I mulled it over, feeling an old wound reopen. Later at home, I turned to Jared, my fiancé. We sat on our porch, watching the sunset. "Melissa's in a nursing home with Alzheimer's. They want me to visit her," I explained, unsure of my feelings. "Sylvia, you don't owe her anything. Remember, she made her choices," Jared said, his voice steady. "I know, but it's complicated. Part of me feels like I should do something." "Whatever you decide, I'm with you. Just think about what's best for you." The next day, I sought advice from Mr. and Mrs. Smith. "Sylvia, it's okay to protect yourself," Mrs. Smith said gently. "You have your own life and your own family now." "Melissa made her bed," Mr. Smith added. "It's not your responsibility to fix it." Their words resonated with me, but I still needed more clarity. I decided to call Rachel, hoping to understand her absence from Melissa's life. "Sylvia, I stayed away on purpose," Rachel confessed. "Living with her, even as a favored child, was suffocating. When I left, I decided it was for good." "Did you know about her condition?" I asked. "I did, but I chose peace, Sylvia. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary for my sanity." Rachel's admission hit me hard. We had both found our escape, our way to breathe away from Melissa's controlling shadow. After reflecting on my conversations, I made my decision. I called Nurse Thompson back. "I've given it a lot of thought, Nurse Thompson," I said, my voice steady. "I'm sorry, but I can't visit Melissa. It's a part of my past that I can't revisit. Please understand." "I do, Sylvia. Thank you for considering it. We'll respect your decision." Hanging up, a mix of relief and sadness washed over me. Jared wrapped me in his arms, his support unwavering. "You made the right choice for you, Sylvia," he assured me. Leaning into his embrace, I felt the strength of his support. Choosing to move forward on my own terms was perhaps the hardest, yet most freeing, decision I had made. Sitting across from Rachel at the cozy little cafe we'd chosen for our meeting, I felt a swirl of emotions: nerves, anticipation, hope. It had been years since we'd sat down together, just the two of us. Sisters trying to bridge the gap that time and circumstances had stretched wide. As we sipped our coffee, Rachel was the first to break the silence. "I've missed this, Sylvia. I've missed you." "I've missed you too," I replied, the familiar pain of our separation easing a bit with her words. "I'm sorry we let so much time pass. We were both dealing with a lot, but I'm glad we're here now," she said, her smile tentative but genuine. The conversation shifted toward our aunt, and I hesitated before speaking. "I heard about Melissa's condition. It must have been tough to hear after all these years." Rachel's expression clouded. "Yeah, it brought up a lot of old feelings. But I realized that staying away was necessary for my own healing. She wanted to shape me into something I wasn't, and when I couldn't fit into that mold, it hurt a lot." I nodded, understanding her more than ever. She did the same to me, in a different way. Rejected me because I was too much like mom and dad, too energetic, too lively. "It's ironic," Rachel mused. "She pushed us away trying to mold us, and now she's the one left alone." "Yeah, and I've decided not to visit her," I said softly. "It's hard, but it's what I need to do to protect my peace." "I hope that's okay." Rachel reached across the table, squeezing my hand. "It's more than okay, Sylvia. I support your decision. We both need to do what's best for us, not just what's expected." Our conversation drifted through memories of our childhood, the good and the bad, as we pieced together a clearer picture of our shared past. It was therapeutic, talking openly about the hurt and healing, about the life Melissa tried to dictate and the lives we reclaimed for ourselves. "We have each other, Sylvia," Rachel said as we prepared to leave. "That's what matters. Let's not let anyone come between us again." I smiled, feeling a profound sense of relief and reconnection. "Agreed. It's us against the world, right?" "Right," Rachel echoed with a laugh. As we hugged goodbye, I felt lighter than I had in years, fortified by the renewed bond with my sister. Driving home, I reflected on our journey, the pain inflicted by Melissa, our paths of personal growth, and our decision to maintain our distance from her. It wasn't about holding grudges. It was about choosing our well-being and focusing on a future that belonged to us, not dictated by the shadows of the past. That night, as I shared everything with Jared, his steadfast support and understanding underscored the incredible strength I gained, not just from my chosen family, but also from reconnecting with Rachel. Together, we were moving forward, healing from our scars, and building lives filled with love and purpose. The morning Melissa passed away, there was a chill in the air, not from the weather, but from the finality of the news. Rachel called me early, her voice steady yet tinged with a whisper of old grief. "It's over, Sylvia. Melissa is gone." As I processed her words, a tangle of relief and sorrow twisted inside me. "Are you okay?" I asked, knowing the complexity of her emotions. "I think so. It's strange, isn't it? To feel relief that it's finally over," Rachel replied. "It is, but it's also okay. We've been carrying this burden for too long," I said, feeling the truth of my words deeply. We decided to attend the funeral together, not for Melissa, but for ourselves, to put to rest the last remnants of our painful past. Standing by her grave, the small gathering was stark, a testament to the solitary life she had led in her final years. There were no eulogies filled with warmth, only the cold recitation of her life and passing. As the pastor concluded his prayers, Rachel squeezed my hand, a silent pact between us. We were there to say goodbye, not just to Melissa, but to the shadow she had cast over our lives. Walking away from the cemetery, I felt a chapter closing, one that had lingered open far too long. In the weeks that followed, life moved swiftly toward a much happier occasion, my wedding. As I stood in the bridal suite preparing to walk down the aisle, I was surrounded by laughter and the bustling energy of my bridesmaids. Rachel was there, radiant and supportive, no longer just my sister but my best friend. "You look beautiful, Sylvia," she whispered, adjusting the veil on my hair. "Thanks to you. I couldn't have gotten here without your support," I replied, our eyes meeting in the mirror, a shared history reflecting back at us. The ceremony was everything I had dreamed of and more. Jared stood at the altar, his eyes brimming with emotion as I walked toward him. The church was filled with our friends and family, every face a reminder of the love and support that had guided me here. As Jared and I exchanged our vows, promising to build a future together based on love and mutual respect, I felt the weight of the past truly lift. We were moving forward, but we were doing so on our terms, our lives defined not by the shadows of what had been but by the light of what could be. The reception was a blur of music, dancing, and laughter. Mr. and Mrs. Smith danced every dance, their faces alight with joy. Rachel gave a toast that brought everyone to tears, not just for its words of love but for the journey it recounted, one of healing and rediscovery. As the night drew to a close, Jared and I stepped outside for a moment of quiet. The stars were out, a tapestry of light against the dark sky. "We did it," I said, my head resting against his shoulder. "We did," he agreed, kissing the top of my head. "Here's to new beginnings, to love, and to a future we create together." As we stood there, the night whispered around us, promising years of happiness to come, built on the foundation of choices made with courage and the strength to let go of the past. The air was no longer heavy with loss but light with the promise of the life we were ready to live. Now that our story has reached its conclusion, I have a question for you all. Sylvia and Rachel made the choice to attend Melissa's funeral not out of obligation but to seek closure on their own terms. Do you think attending the funeral of someone who hurt you was necessary for healing, or is it better to find peace from a distance? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.